Hello again. Today we're going to try to show how to use the conversions or this convert dialog to create enhancements or IOs that are better suited for what you need. And let's start with just purchasing one that nobody wants. And I was playing around with this, and I think Springfoot, which is a yellow leaping one, I don't think anybody uses these or cares, especially the endurance reduction one. It's like, who needs it? So let's start somewhere in the middle. I want to make one of level 25 so that one of my lower levels has something of use. And as you can see, they're 44 for sale, 4 bidding, but last one sold for 10. Let's put in 100 and see what we get. Maybe someone bought all of these for 10 and then sold them to a merchant to make a profit, which is doable. Let's go up a little. There we go. We got one. Bought one for 1,000, which is pretty low for a recipe. But if you have a lot of merit and you want to get some of the rare IOs, this is a one way of doing it. So let's go to the supergroup base and we're going to build this one, and then we're going to use the conversion merit salvage to see if we can convert it to something of use. So first, let's see if I can construct it. I need a clockwork winder and mutant blood sample. Most likely have clockwork winder and mutant blood sample. Don't ask. It starts with an MU here, but the mutant blood sample is in this one because when I was sorting, yeah. Anyways, so I have enough, and I create it. There we go. It is a yellow IO that I don't really want to use, but it was cheap. The other thing I do sometimes is I'll look through the very rare ones and see what I have a lot of, like holographic memory, for example, or prophecy. In this case, I have 5. Um, and I'll go find recipes that use them and then use the conversion to convert them to something useful. So it kind of keeps one salvage item from building up, especially if it's one that's not really used in a lot of recipes. And there are a few like that. So anyway, so I have this. I'm going to click on convert. In order to operate this convert, let's first do the prerequisite. You go here, you go to salvage, and you can see the converter salvage. And you get, for 10 merit, you get 30 of them. I'll buy another 30. And you use 1, 2, or 3 depending on the type of conversion you're doing. So let's go here. If you're converting within the set, which means that I have this item, it's a Springfoot Endurance, and I want a Springfoot jump or an Endurance jump, one of the others. I would drag it here, hit convert, and it would cost me 3. That's the most expensive one in set. Now, if I go out of set, there are 2 options here. I can get another uncommon one of any kind, or I can get one from the given category. This is a really nice feature because there are only 2 of these type. One is a common and one is the rare, uncommon and rare. So this one is the uncommon one. So if I select category leaping and hit convert, which costs 2, it converted it to, let's see if I can see more of it. It converted it to a rare because there are only 2. If I take this rare and I hit um, back into the leaping category, it's going to convert it to most likely an uncommon one. So it's going to go back and forth because they're really in this category, there are only 2 types of IOs, uncommon and rare. So now that I have a rare, I can convert it to a rare of any other kind. And this is the cheapest one. It only costs 1 because it's complete randomness across the rares, which is nice. And in this case, it gave me a synapse. Um, the, this IO is most likely used for a melee of electric type. However, it has a special one. If you look at that list up here, oh, I can't hover and show, but one of them is the endurance modification and increased run speed. You can take one of these and stick it into anything that can handle this, and it'll give you a boosted run speed. It's it's a specific one for its purpose, but it works really well. But let's say I want something different. In this case, I get Impervium armor, resistance, endurance. This is actually a nice item for tanks, so I'm going to keep this one. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to see if I have many other ones. I may or may not. I may have used up all of them. Oh, I have one for resistance endurance. Oh, so now I have two, and they're both resistance endurance. So a little variety would be nice. So now I can take this, put it here, and do an inset conversion. So it'll pick any one of the other two. Sometimes you get what you want, and sometimes the random numbers are not with you, and you can easily go through an entire stack of converter salvage before you get it. And I've gone through 30, 40 sometimes when I look for one specific one, and just luck is not on my side. So let's see, what do we get? We got resistance, endurance, recharge, which is a good one too. So now we have two different ones that a lower level tank can use. And an interesting thing about these is that if you look at the set bonus in the description, the more of these same type that you have, the better the effects are. So in this one, when you equip two, your recovery of endurance improves by 2.5%. Then your psionic defense goes up by 1.88, max endurance, fire cold resistance, and then finally toxic and psionic resistance, which is desirable for tanks that don't have a lot of psi or toxic. So you would try to six stack this to get that extra boost. So it's nice. This set is okay, but there are some that are very nice. Let's see. They all vary. Yeah, like this one gives you a little more resists. So you essentially go through different sets, like in this case resistance, and see which one will plug a hole that you have. All tanks have some kind of minor weakness here and there, and you want to find a set that will complement it. Like if you're running a psi armor tank, you probably don't want to do stacking of psi armor because you're probably maxed out. Like this one's got a lot of resistances and defense on it, so it's a useful set. I'll do another video about correctly picking your IOs based on your abilities. But yeah, this is a quick overview of the convert and how useful it is. And I use this all the time because a lot of times I get recipes and I'm like, "Ah, I'm never going to use this. I don't have any recipes on here because I've created everything I wanted." But yeah, you get a recipe for something you just don't do or can't use, or you have too much of. There's some that, like I'll have a large collection of one thing. Like this, for example, this is a two-hit debuff. It's specific to controllers, defenders, and a few others, but it's not that common. So if you have a lot of these, sometimes I'll just take all the extras and convert them into something else of use. And you'll get that for a lot of these sets, like Fear. It's mostly controller based, and you'll have controller powers that's slot for it. But then after a while, you'll just have two or three of these, and it's like, I don't need two or three. So I'll just take the extras, run them through the converter, and hopefully get something that I can use. Like some maybe a heal one, which are actually very useful, and armors are always useful. Any kind of armors, whether it's defense or resistance, because tanks use them, brutes use them, scrappers use them, um, and those stealthy guys, name escapes me, um, use them. I don't play a lot of them. Stalkers. I only have like one. Um, so that's why names slipped me. But yeah, the armor ones are very common and are used very often. So if you get one of those, it's great. Anyway, so that was it.